There's another aspect. When Vivekananda is sitting at the feet of Ramakrishna, very quickly he lifts the boy up and says, look, can you kindly study the Advaita Vedanta? Now, Advaita Vedanta is the pinnacle of Hindu philosophy. Let me tell you what it is all about. It says, look, all these different approaches we adopt in order to get a spiritual experience, they're all marvelous, different ways of reaching out. But the pinnacle, the height of your spiritual experience is where you and your God are no longer separate. You become part of God. You see yourself as God. This is not an arrogant comment. This is the pinnacle. This is where, if you like, you see, all abstractions go away, all division go away. You become unified with the object of your devotion. That's how this is the pinnacle, the height of devotion. So, when we talk of Advaita, we are not talking about the process of becoming spiritual or unfolding spiritually, but becoming one with your destination, reaching your destination, hitting your target. That is Advaita. Now, if you went to a Westerner and say, look, we've got all these gods and they're lovely, this Ram is such a lovely chap, and this Krishna, oh, exciting fellow. They say, come on, go away. You told them, you talk to a Westerner and say, look, we are talking of the thing that is living in all of us, is our heart of our hearts, our essential nature, the spirit. You are one with God, Advaita. The Westerner will immediately put all his stuff on the side and say, please talk to me, please talk to me. I know there's something special here, you are asserting it. It is Advaita that the West is looking for. And Vivekananda was going to be the carrier of this strong message of Advaita for the West. You see, Buddha was the messenger of spirituality to the East. See the power of Buddha. One personality, and the message that he gave became visible throughout whole of Southeast Asia. Just one man put a message that permeated the whole of Southeast Asia, went up to China, Japan, everywhere Southeast Asia, permeated Buddhism. One messenger. Vivekananda is the messenger to the West, that India is the firebolt that has been thrown to the West by Ramakrishna. And he comes with a message of Advaita. And Ramakrishna is aware that this guy likes the mother goddess now, but it's not going to help him when he goes to the West. He needs to be trained in Advaita. So he said, look, my boy, you are destined to present Advaita, this highest philosophy of the Hindus. You're going to be that carrier. And Vivekananda said, this is rubbish. I am God. This jug of water is God. This glass is God. This is rubbish. People who wrote this must be idiots. You're talking of this one that kind of links all of us? This is nonsense, Advaita. It's the same spirit that manifests, kind of appears as the whole of this varied creation with all this variation that we see in front of us. Same one becoming visible as many. This is the philosophy of Advaita. The same one appearing as many. This is the philosophy. And this Narendra is making fun. This is people who wrote that must be idiots, I am God, the jug is God, the cup is God. This is the height of ridicule. He was ridiculing the whole philosophy. And one day you see, there's a book, if anybody knows, the best textbook on Advaita philosophy is called Ashtavakra Samhita. Very few people have read it. It is dramatic because it starts in a very high note. It says, look, your limitation is you think you are limited. Your problem is that you think you need to meditate to find out you are already that. All these are by the way. This is how it starts in a very, very high note. And the moment Vivekananda was asked to read it, he threw the book away. Then Ramakrishna, no, forget about you, read it out to me. That's how he made sure that he read the book. Because he said, no, I can't stand it. He said, no, read it out to me, I need to listen to it. And this is how he forced this poor boy to read out Advaita to him. And he happily was carrying on and making fun of Advaita. You see, the proof of the pudding in spiritual matters, and again I would tell the viewers, please be careful, the proof of the pudding in anything to do with religion or spirituality is experiential. It must be possible not to just believe and say, there is this Brahman underpinning everything, this one that appears as many, with nice words that we throw and rhetoric that we keep conjuring up. How far can it take us? It's not good enough. If this spirituality is truly real, I must come face to face with it. If there is one that I want to see what is this one, I want to experience it for myself. Nothing less will do. It must be experiential, not purely supposition, not speculation. I want it. I want to experience this. The proof of the pudding is experience. If somebody says God is with form, unless I experience God with form, how can I believe it? How far can I go with that belief system? It won't take me far. Next morning I'll forget it. I need to come face to face with God with form. If God is with form, I must come face to face with it. If Advaita is reality, is the real, if you like, the heart of philosophy, there is one that underpins it, I must experience this. Experience is the proof of the pudding. Please, please, I would tell anybody, if anybody talks about spirituality, please, please test him out. Is he talking or is she talking from experience? Because if they are talking from experience, very novel material will appear from their mouth, from their lips. Because they are not going to fall back on ancient scriptures. Oh yes, see, Kathopanishad, verse number 3.24. They won't do that. The moment they start doing that, that means they are really are as blind as we are. If they experience, new verses will come out from them, new messages will come out, very novel messages, novel way of explaining spirituality will come out from their lips. This is the proof of the pudding. When you meet a person who is talking of spirituality from experience, the language he will use will be absolutely novel. He will use his own vocabulary, he will use words, he will torture words so that the idea of spirituality becomes visible. He will throw out he will use every instrument in his power to make sure spirituality enters the system. This is the proof of the pudding. And this Narendra was meant for that. So when he was making fun of Advaita, Ramakrishna went near him. Oh, you're making fun of Advaita, Brahman and all that. Oh yeah. And he went and touched him. Never allow a spiritually enlightened person to touch you. Because you see, you want magic, ne? Forget about Harry Potter, this is real magic. When they touch you, or even if they glance at you, it lifts you up. It allows you to fly off from the idea, this limited vision you have about your own self. This very narrow way you look at yourself is broken. That mold is broken, you fly off. The moment he touched him, in Narendra's words, in Swami Vivekananda's words, he said, when he touched me, suddenly I looked everywhere. I thought everything is made out of the same thing. You know, like the same kind of cotton that you put in different pillowcases. So everything was like a pillowcase with the same stuff inside all of it. Everything is made out of the same stuff. These are his words. You see, he was trying to express his experience. And I couldn't believe it. And I said, what is happening? And then I would go home and I would think that I am not this body. It is as if somebody else's body. And my mother would offer me some food, I would start eating, and I would not stop at all because I didn't know. I couldn't feel my body, so I would keep eating. Sometimes I would eat too much, it didn't do any harm, he said. Sometimes I would not eat enough. And my mother said, this boy is a goner. He's going to die. When you start behaving like that, you think something is going seriously wrong with the brain. He's going to die or something. And she was now very worried. He said, this experience lasted for many days. He said, when I used to, for example, walk on the street of Calcutta, I would see a horse and carriage rushing towards me. And I would say, same. He wanted to embrace. Because this is the same one appearing as many. He can't see the distinction. This is dangerous. And somebody would have to pull him away from the street to make sure he doesn't get crushed. He said, this lasted for many days. He said, I would go because the whole thing appeared like a dream. And I said, what's going on? I'm such a strong-willed person. What is happening to me? Because he's losing track of his own being as this body. He said, I would get those kind of iron bars and hit my head on it, saying, is it for real? The whole thing appears like as if this is not my body. I'm out of this body. And I am the one appearing as many. Now you see, I talk like this. But unless we have a glimpse of such an experience, we can't really appreciate what this is all about. It has to be experiential. So this Narendra, you see, when these arguments failed to convince him about spirituality as the idea of Advaita, then Ramakrishna would use his magic potion of touching him. Say, forget about argument, you just know, experience it for yourself. This is how this highest experience was passed on to Narendra.